Have you ever heard of Annabelle? No, not the Hollywood version. The real Annabelle. A doll so terrifying that it has been locked away for decades, sealed inside a special case in an occult museum. But why? What makes this seemingly innocent Raggedy Ann doll one of the most feared objects in paranormal history? This is the chilling true story of Annabelle, the real haunted doll. Our story begins in 1970, when a young nursing student named Donna received a gift from her mother, a simple Raggedy Ann doll. It was meant to be a thoughtful present, something nostalgic to bring comfort during her long shifts. Donna thought nothing of it and placed the doll on her bed, just a decoration, or so she thought. But it wasn't long before strange things started happening. At first, it was subtle. Donna would return home to find the doll in a slightly different position than she had left it. Maybe she had nudged it without realizing. Maybe Angie, her roommate, had moved it. But the small movement soon escalated into something much more disturbing. Donna and Angie began waking up to find the doll in entirely different rooms. Sometimes it was standing upright, leaning against a chair, or kneeling, something physically impossible for a soft, stuffed doll. Other times, it would be found with its arms crossed or lying on the floor as if it had been thrown. They tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was stress. Maybe they were imagining things. But when the doll started appearing outside of locked rooms, they knew something was terribly wrong. Then came the notes. Small pieces of parchment paper with eerie, childlike handwriting were found scattered around the apartment. The messages were brief but disturbing. Help me. Help Lou. The strangest part? Donna and Angie had no parchment paper in the apartment. Where was it coming from? And who was Lou? Lou was a close friend of Donna and Angie, and he had never liked Annabelle. From the moment he first saw it, he had a bad feeling about the doll. He even warned Donna to get rid of it. But Donna, still believing it was just an innocent gift, ignored his concerns. One night, Lou was staying over when he suddenly woke up, paralyzed. A heavy weight pressed down on his chest, making it nearly impossible to breathe. His eyes darted around the room, and then he saw her, Annabelle. The doll was sitting at the foot of the bed, staring directly at him. Before he could react, an invisible force gripped his chest, sending searing pain through his body. He felt as though something was slicing into his skin, carving deep wounds into his flesh. When he finally broke free and jumped up, he found deep scratches running down his torso, 3 long claw-like marks that burned as if they had been made with fire. The wounds were real, and they weren't fading. Even days later, they remained fresh, refusing to heal. Frightened and desperate for answers, Donna and Angie turned to a medium, hoping to understand what was happening. During a séance, the medium claimed to have made contact with the spirit of Annabelle Higgins, a young girl who had died tragically on the land before the apartment was built. The medium explained that Annabelle's spirit was lost and lonely. She had found comfort in the doll and simply wanted to stay with Donna and Angie. The idea of a harmless, innocent child's spirit touched Donna's heart. Feeling sympathy for the girl's tragic story, she agreed to let Annabelle stay. That was a mistake. From that moment on, the disturbances escalated. Objects flew across the room on their own. Dark, shadowy figures lurked in the corners of the apartment. Donna and Angie started hearing footsteps when no one else was home. The air turned icy cold, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched crept into every moment of their lives. Lou's scratches refused to heal properly, and the oppressive energy in the apartment grew stronger by the day. Sleep became impossible. Whispers filled the silence at night. The doll had become a conduit for something sinister. This was no innocent little girl's spirit. It was something much darker. That's when Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators, were called in. After observing the doll and interviewing Donna, Angie, and Lou, the Warrens came to a chilling conclusion. Annabelle was not possessed by a human spirit. Instead, it was being used by a demonic entity, a force that had tricked Donna into giving it permission to stay. Realizing the danger, the Warrens took Annabelle with them. But even in their care, the doll continued to display its terrifying power. On their way home, their car swerved uncontrollably. The brakes failed, the steering locked. It wasn't until Ed splashed the doll with holy water that the car suddenly worked again. The Warrens placed Annabelle in their occult museum, locking it inside a specially blessed glass case. A sign was placed on the front. Warning, positively do not open. But even behind glass, Annabelle's presence is felt. Some say she is still waiting for a chance to escape. Over the years, Annabelle's story has become one of the most famous paranormal cases in history. The movies may have exaggerated the details, turning her into a porcelain doll with an eerie grin, but the truth is just as unsettling. The real Annabelle remains locked away, her case untouched. But visitors to the museum have reported feeling a heavy, oppressive energy near her display. Some claim to see her eyes move. Others say they've heard tapping on the glass. One visitor, ignoring the warnings, mocked the doll and knocked on the glass. Hours later, he was killed in a motorcycle accident. Coincidence, or something much darker? So, what do you believe? Is Annabelle just a doll? Or is she something much more sinister? One thing is certain. If you ever find yourself near her case, remember the warning. Whatever you do, don't open the glass.